complete strangers showed to see the initial appearances of 8 passengers influencer Ruby Franke and mental health counselor Jody Hildebrandt, both charged with 6 counts of aggravated child abuse.
6 counts is still crazy to me, but the fact that they no longer have bail, I mean, it looks like it's over for them. Hello everyone, I'm Alex and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the 8 passengers once again. The support on the channel over the last week has been crazy. We've been covering every single minute of this trial because it is just mental and it just gets more mental. So if you want to keep up with it, then don't forget to subscribe. I greatly appreciate that, and welcome along to the channel. Today's video, we have so much to go over. For example, just the fact that there was a hearing that is available, the fact that there is now officially 911 call evidence that we can actually listen to, so we can kind of hear what actually played out, what ended up getting them in this situation, and loads of stuff to do with just them responding and their lawyers getting involved. It's just a whole mess. First of all, we have a video here from Fox News, which kind of explains the first court appearance. So we'll just go through that and we'll just see what they have to say about it.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. And he's said he just came from a neighbor's house, and we know there's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, he's hungry, and he's thirsty.
I'm sorry, but that is just crazy, you know, when you actually hear the call that was made and the fact that apparently, as you could see here, the neighbors were at least aware that was something a bit wrong going on with Ruby and Jody. But to actually hear that that is the state that child was in and somebody had to kind of like basically save them, it's just so heartbreaking, but also equally terrifying that it got to that point. I am currently working on an 1.5 hour long to 2 hour documentary that will be out in the next couple of days, covering all the videos that they've posted all the way up to the point that we are at currently with the trial. And that video will be going up on my ImAllexx channel in the next few days. And the stuff that I've seen from these parents is just nothing short of child abuse. And it's no surprise that there's 6 counts of it, because honestly, there could be more. My script is 11 pages long. That's how much stuff there is to talk about.
Kelly Ruby Franke is a Utah mother of 6 behind a well-known parenting YouTube channel called 8 Passengers. She and her business partner, Jody Hildebrandt, also ran a so-called counseling site called Connections. Now, last week, both were arrested and charged on several counts of aggravated child abuse after evidence surfaced suggesting they kept 2 of Franke's children tied up and starving in Hildebrandt's basement.
That is just absolutely insane that they locked them in the basement. It's like something out of a movie. You know, I actually can't believe that this is a real thing that is going on. And the fact that they just ran a channel so publicly talking about parenting, whilst they had children literally locked in their basement, is insane. That's like a joke you'd make about those people. You know, Ruby Frank kind of has the smile of somebody who would lock children in basements. But the fact that she's actually doing that is absolutely mind-boggling to me. My brain is just, it's like whatever that was.
Tell me exactly what's happened.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help.
This is the 911 call from a man in Ivins, Utah. A 12-year-old boy showing up on his doorstep in an unimaginable condition, asking him to call police.
And he's said he just came from a neighbor's house, and we know there's been problems at this neighbor's house.
That neighbor's house belongs to Jody Hildebrandt, where she and well-known YouTube mom Ruby Franke broadcasted their controversial parenting advice and counseling site called Connections.
The thing is, we went into Jody Hildebrandt in a lot of detail in my previous YouTube video that is available now about how homophobic she is and how she believes that assault of a certain kind is a choice of the victims to get involved in on horrific levels. This woman is genuinely evil. And the fact is, she was a licensed therapist at one point, which just makes you feel really uneasy. But the fact like somebody who is doing stuff like this could even at any point in their life have been approved for that. Now, I've been told that if you're a religious person, apparently, you know, maybe you could get like a therapist license just through that, which I don't know if that is the case, if that's how low the bar is, then, you know, God help all the children in the state of Utah. I don't really personally understand how America works. I don't need to add anything to that. I just don't get the country. It just blows my mind. as a British person, you know, the whole fact that they kind of hid it in like their religion just is really interesting to look at, you know, because it seemed like that the whole state of Utah were following their YouTube channel, and they kind of normalized these crazy punishments they were giving to the kids through the channel. So I guess people didn't really feel like getting involved too much. I do know that people did try and start petitions to get kids away, but that was probably when it left their bubble. It seemed like that Jody met Ruby because of the YouTube channel, and a lot of the people that she knew through the church, Ruby even says in a video on an Instagram story she made years and years ago that people would personally support her all the time who were also Mormon. So it seems very, very, very crazy that they basically had like a group of people, almost like a cult, who were willingly kind of backing them in this behavior.
That same home where police say Franke's son escaped from the basement and ran to a neighbor's house for help.
He has duct tape around each ankle. Yeah, there's sores around them. I think there's a good chance he's been... Oh, and he has them around his ankles. I mean, his wrists as well. Okay, this boy has been... This kid has obviously been... I think he's been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds.
I mean, man, like that phone call is just like really harrowing and rough. Like there's just no words to put it. Like it is really hard to just think that, like, you know, this case was so public for so long and people were aware, and it still got to this point. You know, it just makes you think about people who just don't have millions of people peering into their lives and caring about them. You know, these kids had fans, people who were looking out for them, and this is still the fate that they ended up having. And the parents were so public about the way they were doing it on their YouTube channels, you know, talk about taking away the children's bedrooms for months on end, their phones, their contact to the outside world. At one point in one of the vlogs, the kids talk about how they have no friends, and Ruby smiles. She says that they have no right to privacy. Everything in their house belongs to her, including them, and what they do is up to her entirely, and not just in a bossy parent's way. But to lock them in the basement, I mean, I couldn't imagine being the neighbor who ended up like running into these kids, begging for the police to be called. Now, these kids, right, they must know it's bad because they've basically been brainwashed into thinking this stuff is okay via their religion, via the parenting. You know, that is what has happened there, whether people like to hear that or not. That is the truth. And Ruby talks about seeing stuff in truth a lot, but that is the real truth. You know, that is what they did to these kids. They brainwashed the fuck out of them. You know, it's horrifying. So the fact that even they snapped eventually, the kid was 12, man, 12 years old. I just couldn't imagine running away at 12 because you're that worried about what you're, you know, because of the treatment that your mum, who's left you with a fucking weird, nutty stranger. You just, like, what is going on? And how did nobody interfere in this situation? I don't know how it took years when it was so publicly available that this stuff was going on for such a long period of time.
The dispatcher is heard saying they'll send an ambulance, and in the background, the boy tells the neighbor that he doesn't need help and that nothing bad was happening to him at Hildebrandt's home.
I mean, that says it all. The kid genuinely believed that everything was just relatively fine. He was just a bit hungry because he's so scared of getting in more trouble with these nut jobs. The fact that he believed that everything was fine, like, I mean, after the treatment that he'd been put under, it just, like, the brainwashing must have been crazy. I mean, you look at Ruby, she is fucking mental. Like, she is insane. Like, that woman is crazy. She really is a complete nutcase, a Fruit Loop. She's brainwashed herself. And that Jody person has also helped brainwash them. And the stuff that Jody comes out with is just nothing short of absolutely crazy. Like, I would not want to be a child in the vicinity of that person. I would not want anybody I know in the vicinity of that person. The stuff she believes is, frankly, barbaric and medieval. I can't believe, now that the phone call's been leaked, that, you know, I think it really adds to the gravitas of kind of what happened, if it wasn't already shocking enough.
What's happened to him is his fault.
The boy was immediately transferred to the hospital.
I mean, on the end of that conversation there, I mean, what he believes is his fault. Now, if you've seen the videos, the video where Ruby talks about taking her child's bedroom away, she literally, right, says, you know, you did this. Like, you did this. This punishment is because of what you did. And even though the punishments were, well, clearly were so out of proportion to what actually happened, you know, he literally says, "Oh, I don't want to be around any friends because they might get me in trouble." That's how scared they are of the punishments they're going to receive. That they don't want, you know, any form of way that their mum could be upset. Like, you know, they can't have that because what comes next is frankly hellish.
And later, police officers would find his little sister in the basement of Hildebrandt's home in a similar condition.
The younger sister, he's 12, the younger sister in the basement. I mean, it just makes you sick. Like, what type of a mother who apparently has centered their whole life around mothering, has made themselves famous of being a mother, treats her kids like this? I mean, talk about hiding in plain sight. She's absolutely evil. I mean, she's going to hell. If your Mormon God is real, then I hope that your religion punishes people like you horrifically, ideally. No amount of repenting should allow you to get away with this. I don't care how it works. That shit's fucking whack. This should not be. You should. Eternal damnation. I mean, really. You really should.
Afternoon, Mr. Winward. How are you?
Franke and Hildebrandt had their first court appearance Friday in Washington County.
My case is assigned to Judge Barnes. I would make an oral motion today to transfer this case to Judge Walton so that co-defendants track each other.
The judge granted a switch of Franke's judge to be the same as Hildebrandt's. The two will continue to be held without bond.
Well, they're being held without bond, so, you know, they won't be released, which is some good news for the kids and also just genuinely people on the internet. Like, wow. I mean, she looks like shit, which is not really a surprise. I wonder if she thinks that she's done anything wrong. I don't think she does. I reckon 100% she'll be like, I'm just parenting my kids. He needed to be punished. I know that she believes that, you know, that they're being attacked by ungodly people. I already know how this is going to play out. I know that's what she thinks. She thinks that the atheists have come to get her. Although she's in the state of Utah, so I think everybody around there is probably religious, to be honest. At least a large majority will be. So I wonder what their thought process will be. These two absolute mental cases. I wonder if we will actually see real justice. I mean, justice for me would be life in prison. Will they get that? I don't know. I guess we'll see. But that phone call is one of the most harrowing things I've ever listened to. It is genuinely terrifying and deeply upsetting. And I just don't know what to say. I really hope that there is good news at the end of this and that justice is served. And more importantly, that the kids are looked after properly because they're still so young and the dad can't be trusted. You know, I mean, I don't know what happens next, really, if there's anybody who would be able to look after them along those lines. But it's such a sad situation because it's a family of like 6 children who have all been raised in such a terrible environment. And it's a shame the outcome just probably isn't going to be very good and isn't going to be very cheery. But all you can really hope for is justice. Well, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. I greatly appreciate that if you did. And there are plenty of other videos out. If you want to see my video specifically on Jody that I posted a couple days ago, when it is available on the end screen, and there's a bunch of other videos on the 8 passengers if you want to get up to date with this case. I will see you guys in the video soon. Peace.